Not every DIY home project has to involve lots of time and energy. Today, I'm sharing 3 super easy tricks for updating cheap flat pack furniture in 2 minutes or less. And no, they don't involve paint. Hey, it's Carrie from Lovely Etc., and I love a big, huge DIY furniture project. I love to find the worst piece of furniture that I can and do all the things to make it beautiful. Sanding and stripping and painting and cutting things and adding hardware, the whole 9 yards. But you don't always have to do that. Today, I want to talk about some really easy ways to update furniture, even if you don't have the time or the energy or the know-how to do all that other stuff. You don't always have to spend a ton of time to update your furniture. So today, I'm really focusing on that cheap furniture that we probably all have somewhere in our house. The stuff you can get at IKEA and Amazon and Target and Big Lots. We all have that furniture because it's really cheap and it's super convenient, and sometimes we just need something fast. But I'll be the first to admit, it doesn't always look the best. Usually there's just a few details that make it look cheap. And while it is cheap, I don't necessarily want it to look cheap. So I figured out a few tricks to help upgrade some of that cheap furniture that are so worth doing, make it look so much better, and truly are easy peasy. You don't have to have power tools. You don't have to have a lot of DIY know-how. And no, you don't even have to pull out the paint, because as much as I believe in the power of paint, there's a lot of other ways to make a big change in your house. All right, so let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about, furniture legs. I think that furniture legs are one of the unsung heroes of a simple, quick furniture makeover. There are so many pieces of furniture that you can update and completely change the look of just by switching out the legs. Couches, tables, dressers, all kinds of furniture. And the vast majority of the time, all you have to do is unscrew the old legs and screw the new ones on. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. You can find so many different types, styles, sizes, materials of furniture legs online for all different types of furniture. And it really can completely change the look of a piece of furniture and even the function in just a couple of minutes. So today, I am excited to add some new legs to our bed. A few months ago, we upgraded from a queen size bed to a king size bed, and I love it. I found a bed frame that I liked online that was a major steal, and it's a really beautiful bed. It is a gray velvet upholstered bed with tufting, and the velvet is beautiful. It's super soft. Overall, really happy with the bed, except for one thing. The bed legs at the foot of the bed, I hate them. They're black plastic cones, and honestly, I just think it makes the whole bed look cheaper. It does not hold up to the beautiful velvet upholstery, and I know this is not a big problem. My husband, I can guarantee you, has never once even noticed those bed legs. But I also know that with a really small change, I can make the whole thing look so much nicer and exactly how I want it to look. So today, I'm switching out the bed legs. Okay, because I want to keep this as easy and fast as possible, I'm going to attempt to change my bed legs without taking the mattress off the bed or even unmaking the bed. So I am propping up the bed with some spare 2x4s just to get it high enough where I can switch out the legs. And then I'm going to unscrew the legs that are there and screw on the new legs. So after looking at some options, I chose these really pretty wood turned legs. I think this is going to make a huge difference, and I can't wait to see what they look like on. So I've been thinking about changing out those legs for a while, but wow, I did not expect it to make such a difference. It honestly makes the bed look so much nicer, so much more expensive, so much more like a real piece of furniture and not something that I ordered on Amazon. And it took about 30 seconds and so worth it. One of my favorite furniture leg transformations personally was several years back. I had an old kitchen table. I really just didn't have anywhere to put the table anymore. So I unscrewed the legs that went to the kitchen table, screwed on some new hairpin legs, and it made an amazing coffee table. Totally new piece of furniture. All I did was switch out the legs. Another super easy way to make over a piece of furniture is simply switch out the hardware. So I love to do a good furniture flip and get some old decrepit furniture and completely transform the whole thing. And I almost always end up switching out the hardware when I am doing furniture flips. But sometimes all you need to do is a little hardware switcheroo, and that on its own is enough to give the piece kind of a whole new vibe and a whole new feel. I have this little white writing desk in my entryway that I really like. This is not a fine piece of furniture. I got this desk at Big Lots many years ago. And if you don't know what Big Lots is, it is a discount furniture store. So this is not an heirloom piece or anything, but it has a really beautiful classic shape, and I really like it. But one thing has been bothering me the whole time I've had it, and that is the hardware. It has these little bend pulls, which are absolutely fine, but the finish is kind of cheap, and kind of got this whole thing going here with an antique mirror and some antique piano stools, and this cheap stainless steel hardware is just not vibing. So I want to switch it out. So typically when you're going to switch out hardware on furniture, on cabinets, whatever, you want to make sure you get some nice replacement hardware that has the same hole spacing as your old hardware. And when you're painting furniture, you don't have to worry so much about that because you can easily fill in the old holes. But since all we're doing is switching out the hardware, we want to make sure everything matches up. Unfortunately, on my desk, that's just not going to work out. But I have a solution, and it's still going to be easy. So for my desk, it has these little bend poles, and they have kind of a weird hole configuration in the back, and the holes are only 1¼ inches apart. So I went digging in my extra hardware stash that's left over from other projects, and luckily I found something that's going to work. It's not going to use the exact same holes, but once it's installed, it covers up those old 2 holes and you can't see them, and I'm happy with that. In the future, if I ever decide to refinish this desk, I'll deal with filling in the old holes then. But for now, it looks great, and to be honest, that is good enough for me. Even with having to drill new holes, that honestly took less than 5 minutes. Now, of course, I do have to mention that if you're in a situation like this and you're trying to change out some hardware and update it, and it's kind of a unique size, you can also always just paint the hardware and give it a new color. And yeah, it's not a whole new shape, but it can make a big difference. But this video is all about doing things without using paint. Okay, so this third trick is perfect for anybody who has IKEA bookcases or any other kind of flat pack bookcases with adjustable shelving. I discovered this at our last house when I used a whole bunch of IKEA bookcases to make a wall of built-in. Now I went the whole 9 yards. I used trim to make it look built-in. I had crown molding at the top, molding at the bottom. It looked amazing. But even if you're not going to do any of that and you're just going to have your bookcase and do this one little thing, it will still make it look so much better and more like real solid wood furniture. All you're going to do is fill in all those holes for the adjustable shelving. So the holes obviously have a purpose. They're there so you can adjust the shelves to be whatever height you want. You can take them out, you can add more, whatever you need to do to make your shelves work for you. But for most of us, once we have our shelving assembled in our house and we've put our shelves in place, we're probably never going to touch them again. So I have found that just filling in all the holes that you didn't need upgrade your bookcases almost instantly. It is so easy and it really makes a huge difference. So there's a whole bunch of different ways you can go about filling in these holes, but I found that the cheapest and easiest way is just to use some lightweight spackling. If you have white bookcases, which a lot of us do, then once you dry, that's it. You can get a damp paper towel and wipe off any excess that you see around the edges. If it's rough or there's a whole lot of excess, you can sand it lightly with a high grit sandpaper, but you might not even have to do that. And since it dries white, it blends right in. Now, if your bookcases are painted, you're going to need to paint the spackling to match the rest of the bookcase. But this is such a super easy, fast way to update bookcases, built-ins, shelving, any kind of shelves that have those holes for adjustable shelf pins. So those are my 3 super easy updates for furniture, and honestly, it doesn't get much easier than that. All you're doing is buying stuff and screwing it on and applying a little spackling. So even if you're not very experienced in DIY or you have absolutely no time to be worrying about upgrading your home, this is stuff you can handle. If you haven't, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel, Lovely Etc., where I share DIY, inexpensive ideas for creating a home that you love, although most of them take a bit longer than these. See you next time.